Man, I got the bass. Hit me with some bass. HFR from The Matrix, Mistrade, Matt Davio, Bob Heffernan. Welcome to Market Vitals, the stream. It's a podcast. It's, you know, it's so today, Matt, it doesn't know what it is.
It's a live stream.
It's a live stream. It's a podcast.
It's got more viewers than CNN's new mobile app.
You know, crazily, a lot of, we've had 6,000 viewers on a show. I think that's our record. And CNN is only getting 10,000. And crazy.
Yeah. Well,
crazy the level playing field that technology has given us the opportunity to participate in. You know, Matt, we're going to get to the CPI, PPI stuff. And I say it, I'll say it again, an adage on the trading floor and adage because there were several adages. Like, was please don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining. Incredible how the evolution of how you calculate CPI has evolved over the years. But before we get to that, let's talk about inflation. Let me share if I can. And let's go right to the Twitter feed. Cat Turd said, "This is ridiculous, balls of steel." And I'm going to go full screen. Sebastian Stubner, a German pro surfer, rode a 115-foot tall wave at Nazaré, Portugal. Great documentary, by the way, as they found that. But let's go to it and let's go full screen, Matt. Why wouldn't we? I don't know why we didn't go for. I mean, I asked you on the way in, what's he thinking here?
It doesn't even look real.
What's he thinking? Keep my balance. Don't freak out.
I wouldn't want. I mean, that's like watching the Niagara Falls crash on your head. That's like the people in the boat on Niagara Falls. That's what that's like.
The finger of God is literally in the ocean, swirling it, and he's an ant. Not even an ant. I mean, an ant. Ant's got skills, unbelievable skills here, and I don't know. It's just things that make you go, no fucking way. That's kind of like the Fed. He's the Fed, and that's inflation, and he's trying to outrun it. So far, Matt.
How about if we adjust inflation to 1980?
Hold on, I got the graphic.
Okay.
I can't get my system to work right now though, for some reason. All right, here we go. Here we go. Breaking news. And that was this one. Inflation rate is 19.5%, calculated according to 1980 methodology.
Well,
that's a much harder headline to swallow.
Back then, they counted housing, energy, food, and education, and healthcare. They don't count
all the things that everybody has to pay for.
Yes, they don't count them now.
Now, I think in Germany, because you've seen the German rate, I was
22.5%. Yeah.
24.5, right? Like, so they're actually, and just to prove this point more, this was from Election Wizard. These are the actual price increases over last year. PPI was no better today. I mean, come on. These are all things that you need to pay for. And they're all way over the 8.5 that the CPI is trying to escape from that crashing wave.
Yes.
Crazy. And obviously the equity, I mean, the interest rate markets know this is in the pipeline, right? As they've been cratering for weeks. Matt, we're going to jump into some home builders though. And let me bring back up this article that you shared in the network, marketvitals.io, that's the network. And it was this Zero Hedge article about JP Morgan's earnings. And I just want to jump down to this line here. It says, perhaps the biggest red flag here is that retail mortgage origination was down to 15.1 billion in the first quarter, which is 33% less in the fourth quarter and 34% less than a year ago. A pretty significant slowdown. And Matt, let's face it, the rates didn't go through the roof till the last couple of, like not even in the first quarter.
It was March 5th through the 31st. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if that doesn't wake you up, 34% quarter over quarter, wow, that is a hard stop is what that is.
I mean, and he says, commenting on what were the best mixed earnings, Octavio Morenzi writes, JP Morgan quarter one earnings are the very dull bookend to a golden 2-year period in banking. And he's thinking that going forward, it's going to continue. And how could it not continue to be harder?
But the other thing I said would happen is in the first paragraph of the article which was trading profits were up huge, and investment banking, just like I said, that's going to play out for every single bank, starting with JP Morgan, Citigroup today, Goldman next, blah, blah, blah. You're just going to see it across the board. Deal flow has stopped. When deal flow stops, trading has to pick up. That's always been the way that Wall Street functions. So it's not, I'm not really unique in saying that would happen, but it happened. And now, retail gets to see it for the first time. But
that was another thing that I thought was incredible is how much flow into the market that was seen in the first quarter.
Yeah.
So you like to say the masses are asses, retail always gets its lunch handed to them. And there's a giant, we saw it at the end of the quarter, that 18% pump, and then just giant volume on those rebalancings. I don't know. Let's go to the home builders, because I don't see how higher rates and higher costs for everything makes a bunch of people want to take on.
Well, again, you could afford $500,000 with your salary. Now you can afford $380,000 with the new interest rates, and we've already gone through that. That's one factor. Costs have been through the roof. Lumber, we've talked about over the past 1.5 to 2 years. It's coming in, and we'll show that in a bit. But let's go back to my favorite home builders over the last year and change. This is about 1.5 years. This is Beazer, traded as high as 26 March or May of 01, and has almost been cut in half already, down to 15, Bob. Toll Brothers, the high-end retail home builder, large home builder, they have seen the same type of action. Most recently, trading as high, they're down here at 47 now. They peaked here at 76 just at the end of the year. Again, this is high-end home building. Like, their average sell price is probably close to $1 million now, but very much a big box but builder of homes. So something to consider. The next one, always I like to talk about, Pulte, Michigan-based company. I don't even know if they're Michigan-based anymore, but they used to be headquartered in Michigan. 64 down to 42. Again, this is.
Do me a favor though. Let's scale out to the worst of times.
Well, it blew out. It blew out. All these blew out. So let's just show this. They all blew out where we were in 05, right? So if this is a year ahead of the curve and that's the high, that means May of 22 is about. We're not going to be any. So this marked the high in July of 05. I remember that's exactly when I sold my house, and in Bend it lasted another year. We've already slowed down in San Francisco. You've seen the numbers there also. Like, prices on houses are falling, which means the inventory is building, and now there's no buyers, which makes sense with what we just laid out to start the show. So all this shouldn't be a shock if you're paying attention. It's different than last time because your dog is not getting a mortgage like it was in 2005 and 6, but it's
and we for sure didn't see the inflation back then.
And look at DH Horton. These guys make, the median house, right? These guys make the median. By the way, do you know the median house price in Bend this last reporting quarter period? $773,000. The median, Bob.
That is so.
And everybody, and again, talking to people, you and I know that it's going to go on forever. I'm like, oh my God, I can't take it anymore. 110. This thing is fully, off.
Actually, as I look at that, I think it's a better short than the rest of them. It hasn't fallen nearly as much as the rest of them.
And again, $26 billion market cap. I don't remember who's the big king here. Yeah, and it's much bigger. Pulte is 10 billion. Beazer is not even $500 million. So these, These guys, look where that thing was back in the day. So it's never, again, when you had moves like this, it's never going back there. NVR is another one. Let's just take a look at that real quick. And that one is trading up here at 4,400. They've never really split. And again, this is a 14.5. So yeah, DH Horton's probably the biggest that we just looked at, the biggest market cap. And then when you look at the two, we can look at also, we've talked about these, ETFs before. XHB is, the long, home builder ETF. This thing, only started trading after the bubble, March of 06. That was the top. It came public right then. So why wouldn't it trade back to 45? It's at 63, was 86. It will at least go back and test that high for sure, probably. And
guaranteed, probably. MarketVitals.io.
To me, it's not even a probable. It's just like it will happen. Just when it will happen. And then IYR has been around. It was around for the first, the most recent bubble. And look at that. The low that saw during the COVID. Why wouldn't we go trade 56 and it's at 108? Why wouldn't we?
Half off sale coming everywhere around you.
Yeah. So I think those are all need to be looked at. And we've already talked about Home Depot. We've talked about Lowe's. Let me just bring those up real quick, just because they're retail focused in that area. These are long-term charts. These are weekly charts. Home Depot continues to make new lows. Last time we talked about it, the low was 207. So
that's Lowe's, not Home Depot, just to correct. So
yeah, excuse me. This is Lowe's, 263 down to 205 right now. So again, this is already in bear market.
And again, the nuance of it just cost me $50 more to fill up my tank. Like I'm not buying the paint anymore.
Right. I'm not going to. You're not going to repaint the office. That's correct. Home Depot from 420 all the way down here to 296, getting a little bounce again today, as is everything. Holiday trading, one-way trading today so far, until just recently, the everything kind of broke there a little bit during lunch. But yeah, you got to pay attention. There's plenty of right side left on all of these. Plenty of right side to come.
Plenty of right side to come, so he says. So I says.
I says to the guy.
I says to him. All right, Matt. It is a holiday week. Tomorrow, Holy Thursday, and Good Friday on Friday. All the markets closed. Monday, European markets still closed for Easter Monday.
We got Passover. We got First Fruits Sunday. Everything coming together. This is one of those unique times when all religions, all faiths have all the holidays at the same weekend. You got Passover. You got Ramadan going on. Keep your eyes peeled. Keep your eyes peeled. It's always a time for chaos when the zanies on any of these religious orders get together. And by the way, I didn't say this to you before we came on, but I'm going to drop it on you. I don't know if you saw this. CDC, the all-powerful, all-knowing Oz of CDC.
Oh, they did that again today.
So
I'm flying next week. I was really looking forward to not being the lone fucking ranger.
So yeah,
Lee's here. God, he's late. Actually, we were early.
We're going to be kicking the can forward. This is all the way now. They're saying May 3rd. I mean, what was it? We're already at April 13th. What are they kicking it 3 weeks? What? Why?
Yeah. Just the. I mean, maybe to get through all of the spring break and holiday religious travel. Anyway.
I don't see him.
Yeah. By the way, man,
I don't see him withdrawing it. But
by May
3rd, we'll have a new variant.
Well, the G variant is already going around. Yeah. They skipped it. Now they brought it back up.
Yeah.
The G variant. And we're big on charts. We both respect charts and visual confirmation of trades. How do people still look at any of the charts where there's masking versus no masking and try to compel you that it works? It just blows me away. It's like being a Cub fan for 100 years. It's like, no, this is the year that masks work. No, they didn't work last year. Oh, the airplanes, that's where it's working. No, it's really not working there either. No, masks work in preschool, and fuck the kids. Let's torture them anyway. Who cares about kids? No, pretty much no difference between masks. A Jets fan currently, Lee is a Jets fan. The Jets are going to be great this year, and masks are particularly effective in stopping the spread of COVID-19. Okay, what What else do we got? You wanted to talk lumber because.
Well, no, I want to talk, before we talk lumber, I want to talk copper, because copper is important in all manufacturing and in housing, right? They always say whatever copper does, the market's going to do, right? Copper is a leading indicator for the stock market. Copper is pretty much at all-time highs still, Bob. Matter of fact, in the 1st of March, we hit not an all-time high, but a high of this recent move. I don't know if we have been at over $5 that I can recall. So yeah, that was an all-time high. Misspoke. Anyways, that's through the roof. So watch this. Watch for a rollover here. That would be another, chink in the armor for the bear side. It's still bullish. Again, I don't want to buy it up here.
I saw interesting.
Not with your money or Jimmy Urio's money again, but
the vowels, the original vowels. Urio, I saw an interesting article about closing schools because enrollment being down. And the biggest problem with that is as soon as you're not monitoring that closed school, which costs you money, and this was actually in Detroit, that they would have been better off just keeping all those schools open at lower enrollments because it costs money to monitor them. And then they decided, well, this is costing us too much to monitor them. So then the people came in and stripped every single thing out of those schools that they could that had value. And so now you're left with a building not only that's vacant, but has no scrap value because they've stolen all the scrap value out of it. A giant upside down thing. Again, government thinking they're doing the best thing. And down the road, 5 years, 10 years, everybody looks at each other and goes, wow, how could we get that so wrong? And I think that's just a rinse repeat all the time. Jordan Peterson talks about it all the time in policy and how the unknown consequences are, and everybody's like, so are we supposed to do nothing? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Should we have done nothing about COVID? Maybe.
Right. Probably.
I don't know. I mean, because 40% increase in heart attacks doesn't seem like a great outcome.
All right, let's take a look at lumber because we talked about it. And look at this. The March 9th high was the bounce, right? And that had bounced from 450 where it had crashed to, and that's a crash, 1700 to 450. But this bounce back to me is equally astounding, like it's nuts. Because, but this is over. So think about this. We just talked about this. March 8th was basically when rates bottomed. And look at this, from March 8th to today, 1 month later, basically, Bob, that is a crash, right? 1365 to 827, $500. I mean, that's 45%. That is a crash. And if you don't think this can happen to your home price, if you don't think bonds going up like they have for a month won't crush your home price,
how could you not think that when the same amount of money gets you a $380,000 house versus a $500,000 house?
And the median is $773. And the average wage in this town is about $22 an hour.
Indeed, Matt, indeed. Just go there and check it and see what your $17.50 an hour job.
So everybody everybody here is either working at the hospital and is a doctor, or they're bringing their money.
Deschutes Brewing, Matt. Beer is food. Let's not forget that.
Beer. But my point is this, I mean, what's going to stop this from trading all the way down to 361 this time? I don't think anything.
Again, trading lumber is like trading natural gas, which we're going to bring up next. Very dangerous. Big boys, big panties game because you can lose a lot.
Yeah,
but Natty continuing.
Yeah, new high. Traded over 7.
I mean, Parabolic City.
Yeah, this is a daily chart again. Traded over 7, got to 702 today. And that is a new high on this move, 702. It's hard to do it when you're doing the short-term, long-term charts here. Anyways, 702, this was the high. It continues to basically make new highs and higher lows every single day.
And that's good for the stock market, right? Giant increase in production value.
I saw somebody posted a chart actually of like the UNG versus like the LQD. So the UNG is the ETF for natural gas, and they overlaid. I can never do this when I'm on screen. How do I add? I just want
trading
to add.
Technically is our charting partner. It's That's not official though. Trading View. Let's make it official. Trading View. Looking for some sponsorship money.
I was trying to bring up like the TLT or one of those and overlay it. Basically, if you overlaid going back, and this was I saw the chart. I don't remember who posted it over the last day or so. If you overlaid bonds on top of natural gas, it's amazing over the last, say, 25 years that they mirror each other. They move together. So, the TLT is the inverse, right? Or the whatever, the inverse, it's basically being short bonds.
Right on. So the actual rate.
Yeah. And I may be wrong with the TLT, but I think it is the TLT. So as the rates are going higher, natural gas goes higher. That's right. So I can't figure it out here, Bob. I'm trying to figure it out, and I can't remember how to.
Hey, Matt, research is what we do when we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And apparently you don't know what you're doing, but that's okay.
I just don't believe you. It's a simple thing. There's a button here where you can just add a
layer,
add a comparison, but I can't figure it out here. Anyways, that's something to look at. Look at the interest rates going up as long as, in other words, so goes natural gas, so goes the bonds, or vice versa. Which one,
the inverse of the bonds, right.
Correct. Interest rates are going higher. So watch that. Watch, because there's really
and to be perfectly clear too.
In over 25 years, there's not much divergence, is what I'm saying. They really mirror each other. They look the same, right? If you're gonna bring up UNG. So by the way, this UNG traded as high as 2000 back when it went to like $15. So it's trading at 24 right now. Again, I don't get it. I don't get why ETFs all go to zero basically. So that's why I don't trade them. I mean, look at that.
Not only that, they get a nice hefty fee for putting it together.
Well, I don't even literally do you understand that? Like how it's down here at whatever, now it looks like it's been trading liquidish. I don't know, that's not really a word. Liquidity wise, it's been fine. But if you look at that long-term chart, you're like, what the hell happened to that thing? 2020, it's dead.
Well, it's the same. Bring up, any of the triple shorts.
I know.
I mean, they go through it's like an exponential move.
Right. So I don't
holding
again. If you want to be involved, you're better off still trading, but recognize there is the minis on the natural gas, which is QNG. They're pretty liquid if you want to trade those. So you can get involved in those and definitely save yourself some risk if you're a smaller player. I actually don't mind trading those myself. So they're pretty thick. But you can see natural gas again. If you look at the long term, this is the same chart. It's the weekly of natural gas. Looks nothing like the UNG. Anyways, I bring this up just to talk about, like, there's some issues with these two things. So.
Again, though, we talked about this over the past week or so. Look at those highs, and yeah, we're making highs here in the natural gas, but we're
only half of what these were. These were $16.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not out of the realm of possibility. And I it's important to say that, because people are like, no way are they going, well, they went there before. Why couldn't they do it again? This is not something that's hasn't happened before. Why would you be surprised when something happens that happened before? That's
in a world where all assets have been driven up by monetary and fiscal policy. In a world. Yes. Where everything has been affected by fiscal and
one man policy. Takes out a loan. Matt, anything else that we got today on Wednesday? Definitely Wednesday, wacky Wednesday. I know what I got. I got a problem in studio, Matt, and let me just see if you can help me out here, because I got this spider that will not. Oh, ah! Anyway, other than that, spider in the studio. Hates spiders. Yeah. I don't mind snakes.
Really?
I don't mind snakes at all. Yeah, I'll sleep with a snake.
What do you think? What do you think about this whole thread about venom in the jab?
I gotta tell you, how could you possibly know? But there's another guy that's doing a lot of work I came across a thread, and he's like, "Stop it! Like, you're wasting my time." And he's actually involved in discovery around just because it acts like venom doesn't mean it's venom, first of all. And I think that's what a lot of people said.
Right.
So just another, I read this book. Skimmed is more appropriate of a word. And it's called The Skeptic's Guide to the Universe. And it's fantastic because humans are particularly bad at everything, basically. But my problem is the guy seems to be like, everything's a conspiracy theory. And if it's a conspiracy theory, it's automatically wrong. And I agree to that and would have agreed to that to some extent. My problem with it is the last 2 years in particular, we've really seen a crescendo of people that are doubters and want more proof being labeled conspiracy theorists.
Right.
Like with everything, it's like, wait, and I saw a few of the clips of Bill Maher yesterday on Rogan, pretty much what he was saying. It's like, wait a second, they've got shit wrong all the time. Yeah. Like, why am I a conspiracy theorist? Because I doubt it. And if I doubt it, why am I unpatriotic for not wanting to go along with the protocol? Like and so The Skeptic's Guide is a great book because it really points out how
back in the day, that's what the press was for. The press was there to, flush out truth.
Instead of pump narratives.
Instead of driving narratives and bullshit stories. Correct.
Bada bing.
Think about it. I mean, the whole January 6th insurrection thing. We've known since watching the videos the day of, they let them in. Oh, now
how about even better? And I actually like this thread from Glenn Greenwald was honestly, Governor Whitmer, if you got her in a trusted conversation, did she know that the FBI was working on this, or was she legitimately in the aftermath, oh my God, they were going to kidnap me and kill me? Did she believe that?
Right.
Because she should be able to sue the FBI for psychological stress on a bullshit story. I mean, wouldn't you be pissed if they came to you and said these people were going to kidnap you and kill you? Yeah. You'd be like, oh, by the way, well, they really weren't, but we had 13 of the 26 of them were FBI agents pushing the narrative to kidnap you and kill you. What if all 13 fell asleep, right, and didn't show up, and the other 13 actually kidnapped and killed her?
Mr. Pink killed Mr. Red.
I mean, we're back to Clue. It's, in the library with the candlestick with the FBI. And here's another problem I have. Let me vent. If the FBI couldn't pull this off, Matt, how could you think that the deep state could do all the other things that conspiracy theorists think that they did? Right? Like what, they faked the moon landing? They can't even fake a kidnapping. How did they fake the moon landing?
Yep.
I don't know. All right, listen, that's what we got on a Wednesday. It's Holy Week, and it's a real challenge to live the light, Matt. And this week is gonna reinforce that in every day and every way. I'm trying, Matt. I know you're trying, and I wish everyone a happy Holy Week. We'll be back tomorrow, but then for sure no show on Friday. We'll see how we feel on Monday. Anyway, MarketVitals.io is the website. Market Vitals the stream. Please share, retweet, and plagiarize this broadcast as far and wide as you can. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Lee.
Thanks, Lee. See you guys.